So I bought this Viili and Kefir. It's good stuff. It's got kefir grains in it. It's a fermented milk product. And it's very bubbly because I think there may be some, besides the lactobacillus in it or the things that make it acidic, there may be some yeasts which ferments and produces carbon dioxide. But more about that later. What I want to talk about is this Yemoos Viili. This is a very special fermented milk product in Finland. And I suppose you could call it ropey milk. It's got this sort of surface on it. I don't know what the microorganism is. But the great thing about it is you can take, well, you can see just how sort of stringy it is, like this. You just take one spoonful and put it into a bowl like that. And then take some milk. It's normal milk. And pour it into it. And give it a good stir. So you're inoculating the milk with this stringy milk, or the Viili. And you set it aside for one day in a warm place, not all that warm. And after about a day or a day and a half, you'll then get the Viili product itself. If you're trying to make yogurt at home, you have to have it around about 45 degrees, the temperature, to get it to set. But with this Viili, it'll take about 1 day at normal temperature, and you'll get a new Viili jar. So you can, after you've bought one from the supermarket, you can make a new one. So I'll put that to the side and we'll have a look at it tomorrow. To eat Viili in Finland, the normal way of doing it is to take some sugar and sprinkle it on top of it, like this. But 1 teaspoonful is enough. It's quite sour, the product. And then you have kanneli, which is cinnamon. Yeah, cinnamon in English. And you put the cinnamon on top of the Viili. Just like that. And then you eat it. So, usually going around. Comes out, it's quite solid. Sometimes it's more ropey. And that's lovely. Really, it's excellent. Very refreshing. So, Viili is a good breakfast. It's not like yogurt. It's more solid. It's good bacteria in it. So that's it. Viili. hardly any left. Mmm. Now it's 200 milliliters, 2 deciliters of dairy product. That cannoli has gone down the wrong way. It's like that. Oh yeah. Good. Good stuff, maybe it's really healthy. Okay. In milk, you have a sugar called lactose, and you also have a protein called casein. Now, all proteins, it's just like a strand of amino acids or a polypeptide. It's just one amino acid after the other in a long, long chain. And that's called the primary structure. But what you also get is things called secondary structures, like alpha helixes. Now I put that on, I can't get it off. So I'm just trying to be too clever. Let's do it up here. You have secondary structures called alpha helixes, and also things called beta sheets, sort of flat bits in the protein that are like that. So all proteins have got the straight primary structure, long lines of amino acids, and then a secondary structure which has got alpha helixes and beta sheets. And because of hydrogen bonds and van der Waals bonds, they just sort of clump up into some structure called a tertiary structure, which gives the protein its shape. Sometimes you would get many different proteins, sort of, not proteins, but you can have tertiary structures which are just all sort of joined together in little things like that. So in milk you have casein. So when you pour out milk, it's fine that it's very fluid, but if you have sour milk and something has happened to the viscosity of the milk, it becomes thicker. And what's the reason for it becoming thicker? Well, the lactobacillus in the milk, when you're getting sour milk or kefir for example, the lactobacillus will ferment the lactose sugar and it will produce lactic acid. And under acidic conditions, then these very small nanometer sort of globules of casein, they become denaturated. So they change their structure in some way. So it's not like normal milk anymore. There's not any micelles in there or nice globules of casein. And then they just all sort of clump together and sort of become denaturated, and it's not nice tight clumps anymore, but your protein is now more clumpy, and the milk turns from being very fluid to very viscous. It also helps that the lactobacillus produce polysaccharides, round about the cell membrane, which also makes it sticky. But that's what happens in milk when it goes from the free flowing milk to sour milk, when it becomes that clumpy. It's the denaturation of the casein protein. I just thought you'd like to know that. Okay, it's time for the unveiling of our Viili to see if it's worked. I put this in yesterday morning and now it's completely dark outside out there, and so it's been in for more than 24 hours. And when we take this off, this has been to keep the dust out. When we take this off, we can see that already we have this nice sort of velvety surface on it, and still a little bit shaky, but I suppose if I leave it until tomorrow that it will be ready. You can see there I'm lifting it up to one side. It's not sort of coming out, so it's pretty solid. So in a little bit more than 24 hours you can go from milk to this Viili with this nice velvety surface on it, and by tomorrow morning it'll be ready and I can eat it, and I can continue the batch process of inoculation to keep it going. And I think that that's great, since you don't need any sort of inoculation chambers or heat control like you do when you're preparing yogurt. This is a very nice way of fermenting milk, and gives a good product which you can use again to produce more. So that's it, Viili. I think you may be able to buy sort of cultures, Viili cultures, and start your own. That's it.